Welcome back. RT has asked social media giant Twitter to explain why one of our reports on U.S. election fraud was labeled as potentially misleading. Earlier, I discussed the story with my colleague, Nikki Aaron. Nikki, what's behind this decision by Twitter?
Well, Jackie, as we know, leading pretty much all news cycles around the world right now is the upcoming US presidential election. There's just days to go and reporters all over are analysing the process, the polls and everything to do with this major political event. And here at RT, we've been doing pretty much the same. But now, for the first time, one of RT's reports has been red flagged as it's earned a civic integrity label from Twitter. That is a warning, if you like, for readers that the report might be disputed, that the details might be misleading. On closer inspection, which is failing to see what it is about this report that has rung alarm bells for the guys at Twitter. In the report, our correspondent basically highlights all of the concerns that have already been discussed about voter fraud ahead of the election, challenges that the OSCE has already raised itself, and we quoted that in the report. Take a listen.
Overall, Office for Democratic Institutions and Human Rights Needs Assessment Mission interlocutors noted that the conduct of these elections will be the most challenging in recent decades. They expect that election officials will face serious challenges prior to and on election day due to new measures in response to COVID-19 pandemic and express concerns over their ability to overcome them.
We now bring in live internet law expert and social media solicitor Yair Cohen for more on this. Now, do you think that Twitter was justified in singling out this report by RT?
This is really getting ridiculous now. There are two important points here. The first one is that there is a billionaire, birdy guy sitting there in Silicon Valley and decides which facts should be checked for accuracy before they are presented to millions and millions of people. But this is only one aspect of it. The second thing, which is even more ludicrous, is the quality of the fact-checking that Twitter is purporting to conduct. So Twitter, of course, is keep getting it wrong. First, it decides that the only fact-checking that it's going to carry out, or nearly the entire fact-checking that it's going to carry out, it relates to one side of the political spectrum. But more importantly, Twitter hasn't got the ability, the quality of the people, the experience, the journalistic experience, the legal experience to fact check. And two recent examples are the New York Post story that has been suppressed because people in Twitter decided that it wasn't sufficiently accurate or verified. And now we have got another story that the Twitter decides that should be suppressed, and that is in relation to postal voting. Now, there is ample evidence that postal voting could create fraud. There is evidence from the UK. There has been a commission in the UK that concluded already that postal voting is susceptible to fraud. You don't need to be a genius to understand that, but no, for Twitter, you have to be really, you cannot say, God forbid, that postal voting is susceptible to fraud. Why? Because Twitter said so. Absolutely ridiculous.
Well, there's issues when it comes to any type of reporting, any type of voting. But another thing to note is the fact that people's social media feeds tend to be sort of an echo chamber of what their own ideas are just being reflected back at them. So are these tags that they're putting on accounts and reports really going to change anyone's minds?
I think what they are probably trying to do is to create an image. So it is very easy for a popular social media site such as Twitter to portray someone as a liar or to portray another person as an angel. And this is precisely what we are seeing in this election, regardless who is right and who is wrong. We are seeing President Trump being portrayed as the devil, and we are seeing a conscious effort to portray former Vice President Biden as pretty much an angel. And the way they do it is not simply by pumping up information and give you more and more nice stories, but rather by suppressing bad stories about certain people and certain politicians, which is very, very dangerous thing to do.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Yair Cohen, internet law expert, thank you for finding the time to join us on the program today.